There's a lot about Pesach that we can go into tonight. To start with, there's the mitzvah at hand. There's a mitzvah that we're going to do called tashbisu. Right? There's a mitzvah in the Torah. The Torah says that you should destroy the chametz. Let me read you the verse. The verse states, just going back to Parshas Bo, that's where all the mitzvahs about Pesach are. Here, it's on page 354. So it says on, you should eat matzos, but the first day, tashbisu, se'ar mibatechem. You should destroy the se'ar. The se'ar is the yeast from your houses, because anyone who eats chametz, you can't eat chametz. We have a positive mitzvah. This is one of the 613 mitzvahs.
Destroy
to destroy
or
the chametz.
remove. Destroy.
To destroy the chametz, yes.
That's why we burn it?
Right, okay. Right. So we learn out that it's a mitzvah to destroy the chametz, and right, they probably bring down over there. So it's a whole question here now. When should you destroy it?
You can sell it.
So you could sell it, but there's an actual mitzvah to destroy it, to eradicate it, to burn it, to eat it. Say that even when you eat it, you are getting rid of it. Now, the Minchas Chinuch, he calls this now mitzvah tes. He calls this the ninth mitzvah of the Torah, because it comes right in Parshas Bo, and the mitzvahs really are usually there are not so many mitzvahs through the parsha, through the whole Chumash Bereshis, because Bereshis is a lot of the story of Yosef and the brothers and Yaakov and Yitzchak and Avram. So finally, you start Shemos, we get some mitzvahs here.
Until Hashem actually commanded the mitzvahs, they weren't really counted. Any of those mitzvahs that were previously done, were they counted as mitzvahs so if you didn't do them? Or
so it's interesting that there are certain mitzvahs which were repeated at Har Sinai. Mm-hmm. And the Gemara goes through that, so it's interesting. So you need it to be repeated, or else the Gemara Sanhedrin deals with this, that there are certain mitzvahs which are only stated once, and you would need it to be stated twice. So we'll have to look up that Gemara, because the Gemara goes into which mitzvahs a guy is chayav in. A guy has 7 mitzvahs that he has to keep. So the Gemara there learns out from certain mitzvahs which are repeated, and the ones which are actually said in Parshas, let's say Noach, right? That Noach, when he was told he can't just slaughter, he can't eat raw meat, right? There it said right away. That's where we learn out that a guy has to keep one of the 7 mitzvahs is not to eat raw meat that was taken off of a live animal. It's called Aver Min Achai. That's what we learn out from there. So the Gemara goes through that certain mitzvahs. There's a whole calculation how we learn out how the 7 are picked, right? Not to kill. Okay, so this mitzvah is number 9, and the mitzvah is to remove all bread from your house. And the mitzvah is on the 14th day, and he quotes this verse here that we just read, in Perek Yud Beis, verse 15. Because it says, Ach b'yom harishon, on the first day, and we learn out, by the way, what does the first day mean? It doesn't mean, you might think, well, it says, b'yom harishon tashbisu, the first day you should destroy it. So you might say, well, I should destroy it on the first day of Pesach. But you can't do that, because the obvious problem is that
you're owning chametz.
You can't have chametz. You have to destroy the chametz by the morning before Pesach. The reason why you have to destroy it, right? That you can't have chametz even from the 6th hour, which means we're going to be Monday morning. We're going to be burning the chametz, right? Sunday night we're going to do the bedika. We're going to check for all the chametz. We're going to keep it and save it over to burn it till Monday morning. And then when we burn it, we're going to actually be doing this positive mitzvah of destroying the chametz. And the reason is because the first day refers to the day before Pesach. The Yom HaRishon means the day before Pesach you have to destroy all the chametz. The Gemara learns out. It doesn't mean the first day of Pesach. And we destroy it because you're not allowed to have chametz in your house when you're going to have bring the sacrifice of Pesach. And we know that the evening of the 14th, right? That's when we check for chametz, and the next day, the 14th day, is when we bring the carbon Pesach. the time of the bringing the carbon is not, it's not, let's say, at night. It's before the night. It's towards the evening we bring the. So you can't have any chametz when you bring the carbon Pesach. So therefore we learn out that a whole afternoon, from the 6th hour, midday, of Monday morning, then from the Torah you're not allowed to have chametz in your property anymore. So the main mitzvah is to destroy it. Any chametz left till the 12th hour, till you'll look at the time, what time, whatever time they say. Like sometimes it's like 11:30, whatever, and then you got to burn it. By then it should all be burnt. So that's the mitzvah of tashbisu, to destroy it the first day before Pesach. That first day, which means the first day before Pesach. Now the question is, the Minchas Chinuch wants to know if you have to actually do an act of destroying it, or is it enough to just have it destroyed? That's his query that he asked a few years ago. Because what does it mean? Tashbisu, it seems like you should destroy it, but what did the Torah want? Did the Torah want you to actually take the fire and burn it, or did the Torah want you just to have it destroyed? That's his question where he asked. Because the whole point is, why did the Torah write Tashbisu, to destroy it? So you shouldn't have any chametz on Pesach, because the two mitzvahs is for Pesach. Bal Yirah, you shouldn't see, right? Look at the verse there. The verse states clearly that you should not see chametz, right? And you shouldn't have any chametz be found in your house, right? That's a clear verse. Let me read you the verse, if we have it on hand. That's called Bal Yirah. You shouldn't see any of your own chametz, and you shouldn't have any of your own chametz in your house or anywhere else. You shouldn't own chametz or see chametz, which is yours. Yeah, so here. So the pasuk is page 362. On page 362 it says that for 7 days you shall eat matzos.
That for me?
And it says on verse 7, it says in the end, V'lo yirah lecha chametz. You shouldn't see any chametz, and v'lo yirah lecha, so you shouldn't see any of the yeast. So the idea is that maybe the Torah just wanted that you should have it destroyed. Maybe you don't have to do an act of destroying. Maybe the Torah just wants it. What did the Torah want? When the Torah said,
want it to exist. I mean, like if you imagine how they were in the wilderness, where they were all in a camp. If they didn't destroy it, where were you going to throw it out? It would be still in the community. It would have to be destroyed to eliminate it.
Right. So the question is, let's say, so I'm going to ask. So you hear the query here? Do you have to destroy it, or the Torah wants you just destroy it if you have it, but the main thing is not to have it. The end result is just don't have it.
I was under the impression that you can sell it, but actually keep it in your property, in a sealed area.
Yeah. So then if you sell it, it's not yours. If you
But
sell
it's actually on your property.
But
it's not yours.
Isn't that against the mitzvah also to get it out of your homes? I mean, like, I know we sell it, but it just seems that the mitzvah to get it out of your house.
If you sell it, then it's not yours.
But it's still in your house.
This idea of selling only came about a few hundred years ago.
Yeah, it's a recent thing of selling, and the reason why they decided to sell chametz is because people had a lot of, you know what they had in the house? Hundreds of dollars of whiskey, and if there were some people that it was too big of a loss to just spill out the whiskey, make a kiddush the Shabbos before Pesach, the Shabbos HaGadol, Gadol is Gadol Kiddush, big kiddush. That's what Shabbos was. Because this Shabbos is called Shabbos HaGadol,
so
the big Shabbos,
So you're able to keep it in your property.
But it's not yours. Only if it's not yours.
But you're able to keep it.
Yeah. As long as you don't own it and you don't have any responsibility for it, so it's fine. You're allowed to see. It says Lo Yirah. You see this verse that we just read, Bal Yirah. Don't see it. Don't see Lecha.
It's got to be sealed. Yeah.
But it says, but it says Lo Yirah Lecha, to you. You can't see your own chametz. You're allowed to see someone else's chametz, just like you can walk by the bakery on Pesach. You could see bakery's chametz. Maybe it's not in the spirit of the day, but you're allowed to. So as long as it's sealed off. The reason it's sealed off is because we don't chas v'shal. We don't want you. Maybe you'll just happen to walk in there and maybe open it up and maybe smell it, and you never know what can happen.
So what was
next thing you have to smell is
what was actually done thousands of years ago? They didn't have the concept of selling it to a goy.
No, we have to look up when that was started. I'm not sure.
A few hundred years ago.
So it could be
what did they actually do? They consumed all the chametz, so they didn't have?
Yeah, so we
it
have
said no see, and it may not be found.
Yeah, no, so either they consumed it, or they, we'll have to look up what year did they start selling the chametz. You have to go on the, go check up history when they started selling. It could be 1,000 years ago. Could be. You have to look it up. But they did own it, and it had to be. So that means they did own their own. There was none of their own chametz. Maybe they had. If you sold it, it's not yours anymore. So this is the query that we want to ask. So what does the Torah want? The Torah wants you to actually do an act of destruction, to burn the bread, throw a lot of things in the fire. Or did the Torah just want to tashmisu, means destroy it, but the Torah's real intention was make sure you don't have any there. If you have it, destroy it. But if you don't have it, then that's fine. So I'll tell you, there's 7 differences between the two sides. Right? You say, what difference does it make? So I'll tell you, we'll go on to right away, one difference. Right? And the idea is that, let me read it inside, and I'll explain it as we go along. Because the idea is, maybe like if you don't have chametz, maybe it's like tzitzis. Maybe it would be like tzitzis. Let's say you don't have a 4-corner garment, right? If you don't have a 4-corner garment, right? Are you transgressing any of the Torah laws? No, because the Torah only said if you have a 4-corner garment, then put tzitzis on. Right? David, you learned this once, right? So, but the Torah asks you, Torah says put tzitzis on when you get a 4-corner garment. But if you don't have a 4-corner garment, you don't have to put it on. But we should try. A person should try to build in himself a love of the Torah and a love of the mitzvahs, that he should buy a 4-corner garment.
So is that rabbinic now? Like the rabbis will say that now we must wear it.
No, the rabbis did say you must wear it.
Because I thought I heard a rabbi not too long ago say that, but maybe.
That he said what? That you must.
That we should.
You should. We should wear it. We should wear it. And the Torah says you shouldn't look for ways, like strategies, to get out of mitzvahs.
Okay, so but there's not. Okay, so according to the Torah, it's not necessary. You don't have a 4-corner. There's no rabbinic command that we must have it.
Right, there's no rabbinic command.
Okay.
But if a person tries to get out of it, like he looks for ways to get out of mitzvahs, so then, Hashem is not happy, because Hashem, he says, like, he in a time of anger, Hashem says, why didn't you're looking for, you don't appreciate the joy of and the beauty of mitzvahs, and the beauty of the schar, of the reward. There's a reward, right? We're going to get a reward for every mitzvah we do. So a person, he's missing out on the sensitivity of the beauty of a mitzvah and the beauty of the reward of the mitzvah. If we would know what the reward of a mitzvah would be, we would be running after mitzvahs, right? We'd be running after mitzvahs the whole day, right? Because you know what they say, the old story of the fellow who they told him, he was up in the court, and they said, okay, you have one more day. We'll let you go back down to this world for one day, because it's pretty much even. We'll see what you do during that one day. So what do you think he did when he came down? He ran to shul for Shacharis, and then he started learning. He said, I'm not even going to eat breakfast today. And then he helped out someone. He did he did a chesed. So that's the idea that the Maggid of Mezritz, I believe, one of the Hasidic masters, says over that. That's the idea here. That Hashem says, if you know which you would appreciate what the reward is, then we'd be running after mitzvahs. We'd be chasing after it. But the idea is we don't see it. The world is called olam. The olam. What does the olam mean? It comes from the word hidden. Ne'elam, hidden. So things are hidden. We can't see the next world. If we would see the next world, then it would be a different world. Then we'd be running and we'd be doing mitzvahs 24/7. We'd go to sleep, but even the sleeping would be so I could get up and have energy to learn Torah and to do mitzvahs and to help clean the house for Pesach. The sleeping itself could be a mitzvah if you sleep for the right reasons. The eating itself could be a mitzvah. So that's the idea that the Shari Tshuva brings down. The Shari Tshuva, Rabbi Yonah wrote this, and he wrote that when a person he looks for ways to get out of mitzvos. So Hashem punishes in times of anger, and which means if someone slips up really, then Hashem gives it like a more of a punishment because of the fact that he got out of the first punishment, the first mitzvah, right? Like let's give an example. They used to say to be obligated in the truma, in the tithe. So the way is, if when you bring it through the front door, you become obligated, right? That's the rule. Let's say, I believe. So some people used to bring it through the roof, through the chimney, and then they're not obligated in truma because it never came through the front door. So that's the idea that Hashem says that you shouldn't try to make strategies and see how I can get around the mitzvah. Now, although you're by the letter of the law, you're patur, you're exempt. But Hashem says where you have to build an appreciation of what Olam Haba is. What is the next world? The next world is really beautiful. They say, the Mishnah says in Pirkei Avos, that a minute of the next world, its joy is more than all the joys that you put together in this world. You wrap it all up, an ice cream cone and a pizza and a sauna and a swimming pool. You put it all into one, wrap it all up. But even just a whiff of the next world is more beautiful. So we have to appreciate, right? Hashem is the greatest. He's the God of everything. So He could make a Olam Haba, which is no doubt the biggest joy of anything. So therefore, a person has to build up this appreciation of the joy of a mitzvah and the joy of the reward of a mitzvah, and then he'll look to do mitzvahs. He'll look to buy a pair of tzitzis. Yeah, okay. He doesn't have. He'll go to the store.
Israeli stores.
He'll go to Israeli stores. He'll say, I need a pair of tzitzis. You put it on. It's no effort, right? You put it on, you wear it, you're getting a mitzvah every minute of the day. So it's an easy mitzvah, but sometimes it gets hard to go buy it, or you have to check the strings, make sure you got all 8 on each corner. Okay, every morning you got to check 4 and 4 is 8. Okay, I'm okay. I got the right strings. I can make a bracha now. I can make a bracha every morning. So a person has to build up the reward, the idea of the mitzvah and the idea of the reward, and that's that idea. But if a person doesn't put on tzitzis, he's not doing anything wrong by the letter of the law. By the letter of the law. So therefore, what is the mitzvah of tashbisu? Is the mitzvah of tashbisu same thing? If I have chametz, so maybe just like then I should destroy it. But let's say I don't have chametz, then maybe I have no mitzvah. This Monday morning, right? Let's say, you happen to not have any chametz left. Let's say, your wife's been cleaning, or you've been the scrupulous type. You've been cleaning for days. And now you're ready. You have you're eating chametz. You're eating matzah already, right? Like Shabbos Hagadol. This Shabbos, a lot of people they're eating I
heard you have to wait until Pesach.
To do what?
To eat matzah.
Right, you're supposed to wait. Right. So let's say some people this Shabbos their wives make them eat on the porch and have a little roll with just a bare amount to be able to wash. So let's say a person comes Monday morning, he doesn't have any chametz. Should he go to the store and buy a roll in order that he could burn it? To do tashbisu? Because there's a mitzvah, destroy chametz? Or did the Torah not say that you should actually go destroy your mitzvahs to go have chametz to destroy it? The Torah just meant destroy it if you have it. But if you don't have it, then you're exempt. The point of the mitzvah is don't have chametz. Destroy it if you have it. But if you don't have it, then you're fine. Then go ahead, learn more about Pesach. You don't have to go burn anything. This is the first difference between the two sides. Just like tzitzis. Tzitzis, if you don't have a 4-corner garment by the letter of the law, you're exempt. So too here, if you don't have any bread, then you don't have any mitzvah of tashbisu.
But it's the same thing. You should have the foresight to save a little bit so you can do the mitzvah.
Oh, so that's true. So from the idea of that, from that angle, you should. If a person appreciates the joy of mitzvahs, the joy of its reward, so then a person would for sure save a loaf of bread. The more joy he'll save a lot. He'll save a whole box of Cheerios. So no, but right, that would be true. But that's only on this. It depends which side of the query we're going on. If the mitzvah is just make sure you don't have any chametz, make sure you destroy all the bread because you're not supposed to have chametz on Pesach, then you wouldn't have to buy any. It depends which side you're going on. If the purpose is don't have any chametz, so the Torah wrote destroy it, because you shouldn't have any chametz on Pesach, so then you wouldn't have to buy any on Monday morning, because you don't have anything. So you're fulfilling what the Torah said, don't have chametz. But if the Torah actually it placed an obligation to destroy the chametz, when the Torah said don't have chametz, the Torah actually meant that you should do an act of destroying the chametz. So then maybe then you should go buy the chametz in order to destroy it. Yeah.
Every time there's a positive commandment, should we try and do that? Like put ourselves in a situation that we have to do the positive commandment, like tzitzis, the burning of the chametz.
Right. Yes. Of course. Yes, for sure.
So like, should we? I don't know. Search it and try and find an Amalek to try and kill him, or whatever. I don't know.
Amalek?
Yeah. Like
Amalek.
Like purposely go on a pursuit. I don't like. Is that true for every?
Amalek is difficult because we don't know who
Okay.
exactly is. But in terms of all mitzvahs, a person should try. Yeah. There are people. You know what people do? People try to do. There's a mitzvah to send away the mother bird, right? It's called send away the mother bird. If you want to see, you have a bird there. You want to take the eggs, so you're supposed to send away the mother bird. So people, and it's one of the two mitzvahs that a person gets long life for. Honoring your father or mother is one of the two mitzvahs, and sending away the mother bird before you take the babies. The whole idea, we'll have to go into that when we get up to that. It's in the end of the Chumash. But for now, this mitzvah is that you should send away the mother bird. Now, there's a whole order how you're supposed to do it, right? I don't know if you went into the whole idea that you have to how to send it away. You have to actually do an act of sending. So people, they actually it's a whole way how you have to know. You can't scare away the mother before you come, because then you didn't send it away. So there are people who actually search after and try to do it because they want to be able to say they did this mitzvah. They want to say they wrote a Sefer Torah, right? That's a hard one, to write a Sefer Torah. So this is the idea, but definitely but in general, a person should try to do. Should try to get mitzvahs.
Put themselves in that situation.
Someone asks you for a favor. Someone wants to drive. They have to go. They live down. They need a ride. So you could do their chesed. You could do a kindness. So someone might say, "Well, I'm not going down that way. Can I have a ride down to Steels?" He says, "No, but I'm going the other way. I'm not going down to Steels." So you just lost the mitzvah. You just lost the chesed. Chesed, to do a kindness. It doesn't mean that if you're going down to Steels, then you should give him a ride to Steels, right? You have an empty passenger seat, so that chesed doesn't mean, well, you're going down to Steels, let him sit in your passenger seat while you go down there. No, the mitzvah chesed is to help him go out of your way a little bit if you're able to, and take him down to Steels. That's chesed. Then you get a mitzvah right there. You get a mitzvah, positive commandment right there. So you should try if you're able to, but if you have time. But learning Torah is the biggest mitzvah. Learning Torah is the biggest mitzvah. If you have time to do one mitzvah, so you should pick, as long as it's not one of the mitzvahs which is put on you right at this time, right? There's certain mitzvahs which are on the person, which he has an obligation to. It's not like tzitzis where it's only conditional. Some mitzvahs are unconditional. To put tefillin on every morning is unconditional. Because it says, you have to tie the tefillin on every day. That doesn't depend on if you have tefillin or not. There it's on the person to have tefillin. Right? There's a person, he called me up, he was, my father-in-law is a scribe. Right? So, right, he's like a big scribe. So someone called me up, a fellow who was doing a little outreach, and he just spoke to somebody who wants to buy a pair of tefillin. So we got a pair of tefillin because now you're able to get one every day of the year. It's conditional. That doesn't depend on there. You can't push it away to say I'm going to learn Torah. It's only, let's say, if there's an optional mitzvah. Let's say someone has packages they need to bring inside, and it's too heavy, so you can help them out. So if there's a few people around you, and your neighbor can also help them out, and you're going to be learning Torah, then it's better to learn Torah. Because learning Torah is the biggest mitzvah for two reasons. Remember the two reasons why learning Torah is the biggest mitzvah? What? Because it corresponds to all the mitzvahs. Why is Talmud Torah connected? Why is Torah the biggest mitzvah? Learning Torah. So one reason is because every word of Torah that you read, every word of Torah that you say and you listen to is a mitzvah. That's what the Vilna Gaon says. Every mitzvah, every word is a new mitzvah. And the other reason is because the more you learn, the more you know. And the more you'll do. So if you go help the person with the packages, so you get one mitzvah. But if you go listen and learn Torah, you get 50 mitzvahs or 10 mitzvahs. Because now you'll learn about tashbisu. So now you'll know you have to destroy the chametz on Monday morning. That's one mitzvah.
We're still not sure what that means yet.
But one thing is you got to get rid of the chametz. You for sure have to destroy the chametz. You'll know that you have to buy a pair. You should buy a pair of tzitzis. You'll get a mitzvah. If you buy it, you for sure get a mitzvah. When you put on every morning, you put on tzitzis. You'll know, right? Everything you learn, all these mitzvahs. You'll know that you should send away the mother bird. If you want to take the kids, the babies. So you will learn about 10 mitzvahs. So that's why it's better than just doing one mitzvah. So as long as there are other people around, you let them help that fellow with the packages, and you do the Torah. This is the first difference, right? We call the difference in Hebrew is called a nafka mina. It comes out, means it comes out from here, from this query. That would be one difference. Do you have to buy chametz on the morning of Monday morning? So let's go further. Let's go to the next one. Next idea would be, let's say, next or similar difference would be if you have your chametz in your pantry. You have a piece of bread. You have a big piece of bread, which is bigger than a good slice, one slice of bread, and you put it in your pantry because you made what we call the bedikas chametz. Bedikas chametz means, right? What is bedikas chametz? Search for the chametz. Sunday night, everyone's going to do a big search in their house. If you are renting the house or you own the house, you have to do a search. So you go do a big search, and you put all your chametz that you find in one bag, and you have to hold it there till Monday morning when you're going to burn it. So let's say you get a nice few pieces of bread, and you put it in your pantry to burn it, and you're going to do the mitzvah, right? This mitzvah called burning tashbisu, to destroy the chametz. And your friend comes along, and he says, he wakes up Monday morning very early. He sees your chametz there. He says, I'll help him do a mitzvah. I'll go burn the chametz. And he takes your chametz and he burns it. So now, here's the question. If the mitzvah is that you should burn it yourself, you should do an act of burning, so now he stole your chametz. He just burned it for you, but he can't do a mitzvah for you.
Or ate it.
But now you don't have any mitzvah, any chametz to burn yourself. Nothing for you left to burn. So then you're going to be losing out on a mitzvah. And what's the rule? If someone steals your mitzvah, right? The law is, if someone steals your mitzvah, he has to pay you 7 gold pieces. Comes up when you slaughter an animal. So there's another mitzvah right after you slaughter it that you're supposed to cover the blood. It's a separate mitzvah in the Torah. We'll get up to that. Actually, it's in this week's parsha. Okay? So that's your mitzvah for this week. To cover the blood after you slaughter it. If you want to see that inside, I'll just quote to you where that is. Because this week is going to be Parshas Acharei Mos.
It's a good one.
The parsha?
Yes.
It's a fascinating parsha.
Yes, it is.
I was going to go into it. I have one piece already ready. But because it's right before...
Very important parsha. Yom Kippur. Nidah.
You got it. Absolutely. For sure. So in this parsha, I'll just show you where it is, 648. I just want to show you one more important mitzvah, is that when you slaughter an animal, you should cover the blood. 648, it's the top line. So it says that as you slaughter it, right, verse 13, that if any man traps an animal or a bird, it's only on wild animals, not domesticated animals or a bird, that he wants to eat, so he slaughters it, right? A bird or a regular animal, you need to slaughter it to eat it, right? That's called in Hebrew, right? There's a whole Gemara about slaughtering an animal. Remember that Gemara? Chulin. Excellent. Wesley knows all the shots. Chulin. Excellent. No, I drafted him one day.
First rounder.
I needed a study partner one day, so I drafted him in. So now Wesley knows Chulin. Chulin talks all about how you slaughter the animal. Where on the throat? What type of knife? All these ideas. But part of that is that after you slaughter it, you have to cover the blood. That's the mitzvah to cover the blood, and it says in the end of the verse, you should cover the blood with earth. So the question is, let's say you slaughter it. You're all ready, you slaughter the animal, and you got the mitzvah coming up, and you're going to cover the blood. And as you are busy, you slaughter the blood, your friend runs over, and covers the blood for you. he covers it. So he stole your mitzvah. So there is where the Gemara speaks about it, that you have to pay him 7 gold. He has to pay, the friend has to pay 7 gold pieces because he stole a mitzvah. He stole your mitzvah.
So it's more so on the person that he do an act rather than the act be done.
In which case?
Both, because in the burning and in the covering the blood. Because if it's almost like lecha to you, like it's your responsibility. But the fact that it get done, that the chametz get destroyed, and then by you, or the blood get covered again by you, or
1 second. But the blood getting covered is not just that it should be covered. There's a positive commandment on the one who slaughters that he should actually cover the blood.
So it's on.
But by chametz, by our case of destroying the chametz, maybe there's no act that you have to destroy it.
But doesn't it say
tashbisu?
Yeah. So what's the meaning of that?
The question is, does that word say
is
destroy
it? You? Is it including that it be done by you?
Does it mean destroy it, or does it mean
you destroy it?
Destroy it if you have it. If you have it, make sure there's no chametz around. Destroy any chametz that is existing. But maybe you don't have to have chametz. Maybe if there's nothing that to start with, then you're okay to begin with. So this second difference would come out if you have your chametz ready to burn on Monday morning, and your friend comes and burns it for you or eats it for you. Right? He's desperate for Monday morning to get a good piece of cake, a good Danish. His wife cleared everything out of the house. He comes to your house. He sees a good Danish there, so he eats it up. But he stole your mitzvah, because if you say you have to actually burn it, so I'm not going to be able to burn it because he ate up my Danish. But if you say that the mitzvah is only that I shouldn't have any chametz around, then if I have it, I should destroy it. But I don't really. The end purpose is that I shouldn't have any chametz around. So then he didn't take away my mitzvah. That would be the second difference. The third one would be, right? And that would have a difference if you have to pay 7 gold pieces, 7 gold coins. Yes.
What if you accidentally take somebody's mitzvah away? Well, like in that case, you accidentally did it. He didn't mean to take your mitzvah away. He didn't mean or maybe he did. I don't know. But does it matter? Do you still have to pay the 7 gold coins?
We have to look up. We'd have to see. Maybe in that case, maybe it's an accident. Maybe that's a little better. Okay, so that would be the third difference. Now, the question here is, I'll read it inside. So the question is, when exactly would you have to do this mitzvah? That's the next question. When is this mitzvah to destroy the chametz? So it depends. If the mitzvah is to do a positive act of burning it, so then the positive act would be on the 14th day, right at that time, right when they say to burn it, that's the time to burn it. Let's say, but let's say it would be like a regular mitzvah, like bris milah. Person's supposed to have a circumcision. It should be done on the 8th day. Is there a set time? Or if you say just that the mitzvah is, make sure you don't have any chametz in your house. So then there's no set time for that, because it just means that come Pesach, make sure that you have destroyed all the chametz. But it wouldn't be a specific time that you should make sure, right? You have to make sure, but the act of destroying could be any time, starting from today.
Just before candlelight.
Starting, well, it would have to be by midday, but it could start today. You could start eating chametz and think that I'm doing this for the purpose of I don't want any chametz to be around come Pesach. So that would come out also an interesting idea. So that's something we have to keep in mind, because it's going to be relevant, right, as we come up to Pesach, this idea. And the next thing that we're going to do, just to keep in mind, just to go through, after we destroy it, then we're going to say that any chametz that I didn't see, there's another thing that we do, right? We first of all, we sell. Some people sell some chametz, but some people, if they don't have so much chametz, they don't sell any, because they figure, you have to be a real sale. It's not a joke. Right? If that guy wants to come and eat chametz at Mil Pesach, he could come into your house and eat all the chametz. It's not a joke. So a person shouldn't be selling it with like it's a game.
So technically, if your plates are all cleaned and you've washed everything, you've searched everywhere, and you don't have any, then you don't really need to sell.
Right. Now, what people do also, right? The Chachamim, the sages said you should also. that you should nullify. In case you didn't find anything, you should say, if there happens to be any chametz anywhere, I'm nullifying it, and it should be like the dust of the earth. Right? There happens to be, I hope they do a bedika in here. I hope they do a search. No, I hope they do a search in this room, because there's a pack of hamantash in that drawer right over there. So in that top drawer.
You know about that already?
Oh, because it says do not bring home.
Yeah. Okay. So they probably checked that drawer, because 2 nights ago there was hamantash. But you have to do a thorough search. You never know. They put hamantash in the drawers over here. You have to do a thorough search, and you have to say the next morning. You say Monday morning, any chametz that I didn't find, I want to make it to be nullified. It should be, in my eyes, like it's dust, and then that makes it that it's like it's dust. So therefore, that's a good idea. A person should think about that, and you should say those words. Right? They do say that you should actually say those words on the morning of Monday morning.
In the language that you understand too.
And it should be in a language that you understand too. Excellent. Right. That's also something. So basically, you have to make sure the truth is, you have to think about why, in particular in that mitzvah, you say those words, and it doesn't help to think about it. It doesn't help to think in your heart. You should actually say it out loud. So they go through that idea, how it works. Let me just see if we could give one more difference between the two sides. Okay, that's a good. Just like Kisei Adam. Okay, and just to go through a little bit of the Seder, right? We'll just go through what we're going to have to do for the Seder night. So they got the reclining, the leaning, right? So Wesley's just going to show us how to lean, an online demonstration. You should just make sure, if you have something to lean on, because we're trying to show that we're free, so that you should try to be leaning against something on the left side. And because that you're showing that you're free, so, right, is that the way?
Yeah, on the left side. Not on the right side. That's free.
On the left side, and if you have something to lean on, that's the best. Because you want to show that you're free. Freedom is to show, like, you're aristocratic. They used to lean in those days. So therefore, when we're gonna eat the matzah and we're gonna drink the wine, we're gonna lean. For sure, by that part, for those parts. For the other parts, you don't have to lean. Although there is a view that as long as you're eating the matzah, it's still part of your mitzvah. Which means you really have to eat one kizayis, which means 1 olive's worth of matzah. Right now, you can't measure by our olives nowadays, because our olives are not the same size. Our olives shrunk for those days.
Really?
Yeah. So there's a whole idea there about.
I got some pretty big olives.
So it depends what size olives you have. But the idea is that when you eat the matzah, make sure you lean. When you eat the afikomen, you should lean. And the Maharal says that as long as you're eating the matzah, that's all part of your mitzvah of matzah. He says, like, it doesn't stop after you eat an olive's worth. Because he says it's like you're doing a bigger mitzvah. It's an interesting idea that he says the mitzvah could actually become a bigger mitzvah. Right? If you stop after an olive's worth exactly, so you fulfilled your mitzvah. But if you eat more, so he says, then you're getting a bigger mitzvah, because it's still part of that eating of the matzah.
Shows you have simcha eating it. I mean, you do the mitzvahs with simcha.
Yeah, you for sure.
You're eating lots. It means you're having a good time.
You should for sure have simcha when you eat it. And you just brought up a good point, that there was a great man in the Gemara, and I'll tell you who he was. His name was Rava. Rava, the Gemara says in Pesachim, he used to drink wine on the day before Pesach. He used to drink wine. Why? So it says that if you drink a little wine, you get full. But if you drink a lot of wine the day before Pesach, that's a way to make you hungry. You should build up an appetite for the Seder. So Rava used to drink wine. Now I don't know if this works so good by us. You have to test it out. Maybe test it out before. Hopefully you won't be drunk. But the idea is definitely, right? We learned out that the person's not supposed to eat too much the day before Pesach, right? Up to the point that we don't wash after the noon, right? We don't wash after noon, And we also don't eat matzah.
So you can't eat any matzah. You can eat egg matzah.
But we also want to have an appetite.
Right.
So therefore, the day before the whole Monday, right? Let's say Monday afternoon, we won't wash, and we won't eat matzah also.
What do you mean won't wash? Don't wash your hands. Don't wash your
No,
body?
I mean for bread.
For
bread
before you eat.
Right. So which means you'll have bread in the morning. You can have bread in the morning till that time when they say the last time to eat bread. But after that, they say you shouldn't wash for matzah and eat any matzah in the afternoon for two reasons. The first reason, if you eat matzah, you're going to be full. You won't have an appetite for the Seder. And the second reason is you shouldn't eat matzah, is because if you eat matzah, you won't have the...
You're taking away your desire for it during the dinner.
Right, right. Because imagine the first time you're going to taste the matzah, right? There are a lot of people, they don't eat matzah like for 30 days before Pesach. Because they want to have the enjoy, they want to enjoy the taste of matzah.
For 7 days you should eat matzah. So if you start eating it the week before, you're doing it for 14 days.
Yeah.
Maybe that's like...
No, but it wouldn't be
Not
adding on. But the Gemara doesn't say that you can't add. But the idea is you're supposed to beautify the mitzvahs, right? Like by esrog, you're supposed to buy a beautiful esrog, right? We learn now. You're supposed to buy a nice esrog, a lulav. And we find you're supposed to have a nice Sefer Torah, right? You ever notice they put a crown on the Sefer Torah? Why do they put a silver crown on the Torah? A beautiful mantle? Because they want to make it nice. So how do you make the mitzvah of eating matzah nice? You're gonna buy a nice matzah? You buy a round one, right? If it's rounder, is that more beautiful? Is that called hadar? Hidr, to make it beautiful, right? Esrog, you're supposed to buy a nice esrog. How do you buy a nice matzah? So there, it doesn't matter if it's so round or if it's, more of
more bumpier than the
bumpy.
other.
But the idea of matzah is that you should enjoy it. Hidr mitzvah, how do you beautify a mitzvah? Is to make sure that you're hungry for the food, for the matzah on the Seder night. And number two is not to eat any matzah the day before or the week before. The day before is by the law, but even a week before is also brought down because you want to enjoy it. So that you enjoy the matzah more if you haven't tasted it in a while, right? It's like the first time, let's say you haven't had sushi in 2 weeks, right? You go out of town and there was no sushi there, or something. You haven't had such a thing. It wasn't accessible to you, and finally you get back. That tastes so much better. So the matzah, we try to make it beautiful, so we don't eat any matzah the day before Pesach, or a few days before Pesach, and we don't eat anything the whole day. We shouldn't wash for any even matzah after midday because of this idea. You could eat some fruits or vegetables or meat or something that just to hold you over until the Seder, but you're supposed to enjoy it. And the idea, Rabbi, he drank the wine because he drank a few cups of wine because he wanted to be able to eat more matzah. That's the words of the Gemara. The Gemara says he wanted to eat a lot of matzah. So it says that he should nechel tfei matzah. He should eat more matzah. So the Maharal, you heard of Maharal Prague? Maharal was a great, great man. And he said, what do you mean eat more matzah? If I have matzah, I have an olive's worth, I'll measure it out. So that's what I'll eat. What does he mean he wants to eat more matzah? So the Maharal said it must be that whatever matzah you keep on eating, enjoying together with that olive's worth of matzah, that's still part of the mitzvah. So your mitzvah will be even bigger because you're like joining it part of the mitzvah. The example would be two cases. One case would be to do a bris milah, to do a circumcision. So there's an idea, right? They have to cut off the foreskin, but also there's little pieces of skin which, if you cut that off, also, it would be a cleaner cut. Cleaner cut. So the idea there is that you could have the mitzvah, but you could actually add to the mitzvah by, if you don't just stop after that piece. Make sure that all the different pieces, we're called a tzitz, any little part which is around that you can also cut off. You should also cut off that because that's also part of the mitzvah. That's hiddur. That's called adding to the mitzvah, making it more beautiful. It should be a clean cut. So therefore, that's the idea he wants to say. So too over here. So too by lulav. Some people, as long as you're shaking it, that's still part of your mitzvah. So some people, they even walk around with their lulav a whole day. But that's not part of the mitzvah. Once you put it down, your mitzvah's finished. But as long as you're shaking it, it's still part of that mitzvah of shaking it. So therefore, he says you should have an appetite for the meal, right. It's all part of right. That's part of the meal is part of the seder, part of the order, right? Shulchan Aruch. So you should also have an appetite for the Shulchan Aruch and the Maror, right? So therefore, that's the idea for this for the week. So hopefully we'll be able to do all the mitzvahs properly. Okay.